Foundation. Family, none. Friends, supporting. Growing unstable, in an unstable family, nightmares become reality. Weak, for there is no one to follow, like a seed carried away by the wind. Struggling to find ground, a base to become stable. As I search, seeking a family, I finally stopped my travel, Montrose and Devon, where I thought hell was the uprise, thinking I shall fall, wishing myself no more. As I sat in Clinton school with fear in my soul, this hellhole, this prison, will I ever leave? No words will come out thy mouth, closing myself from the wretched classmates that I had no interest. As school comes to a close, outside, as the sun covers the ground giving nutrition, an urge comes over me. My sight is set on a group of peers. I dare to invade. I see the fear grow in their eyes. I said, unknowing of my fears, words release from my mouth. Does anyone play Kingdom Hearts? Smirks begin to grow on the faces that I set upon. In my soul I feel relieved. I feel that I have found what I've been searching for. My base, my foundation. It is said that I shall have something to look forward to. A family, my roots.
Foundation is this intangible memoir that catalogs your trials and tribulations, teaching and instilling these lessons through your cerebral simulation. It is your first diary, your first history book, and the story to your life, the building blocks to help you climb over your strife. It is a constant reminder of where you came from and where you have to be, sometimes defined by ancestral genes. Well, this is my story. Sit back and enjoy the show. Please get comfortable and please don't go. Tracing as far back as the Han Dynasty, when flimsy rice hats were in style, when time was determined with nothing but sundials, and when people actually walked for miles, making everything in life so worthwhile. Bathing wasn't common, rare as a matter of fact. Hell, people had trouble keeping their wooden houses intact. Yes, everyone was a little bit dirty. The emperor's concubines were especially flirty. Martial arts was a national sport, and the Great Wall of China wasn't quite the fort. Science and technology was on the rise, and Confucius still argues in his grave that he invented pie. No offense to this great thinker, it was the Egyptians first. They needed this lumber to build wheels, travel to the Nile, and quench their thirst. By now it should be obvious, I'm Chinese. I'm one of Alexander Wallace's worst enemies. And I don't care if rice and noodles throws me in a state of serenity. Because if you don't love rice and noodles, there's something wrong with you. But I swear, aside from the food, my mathematical skills and b-boy thrills branch from Confucius' wisdom and physical skills. My mama used to tell me I was a great great upon many greats grandson of this great man, that I originated from this great motherland, and that I should be proud of destiny's master plan. Be proud of your heritage because I am. This is my cultural identity, my origin, my roots.
I spew my thoughts into a sheet of paper, ink gushing between my teeth, ink leaking as I think and teaching me to think before I speak, because if I spoke now, you all would surely drown, ink sinking you cats to the brink, loud thoughts but no sound. And when the room drains and the level hits the ground, well, you can see my thoughts projected on the walls, signals of imprinted symbols, noun for noun, pound for pound, we continue the living from the masses that came before us. We were born thus we will continue to age and grow, and our bones will restore dust back into this planet from Pacific to Atlantic. Now, I look down onto my paper, and it becomes a flip book of my ancestors' eyes, old and wise. Wrinkles form irrigation canals in their brow, dripping with the sweat of their labor, working the land and repaying their debt. My great-grandfather slept on a bed made of straw, the same straw that covered rooftops and kept the warmth within their walls. In the fields they toiled, their skin sun-stained, one break on Sundays to talk with neighbors. But here in the States, we complain that life's too mundane. My life was founded on their flesh and built with their bone, powered by my blood's descent and plugged into my dome to continue this genome and let our legacy grow. You say life's boring, but do you reap what you sow? Because you can't have the tree without the seed, and you can't scrape the skies without the underlaying concrete. So I'll let the song speak to project my identity, have my roots choke, hold your mind, and tread like the legs of a centipede. And by the end of this, you will know what it meant to me. I remember in November, it was autumn and I was 4 years old, and I would run down a hill into my mother's arms. And if I would trip on the wood chips, she would catch me from harm. And my dad, yeah, it all comes back to me. He used to make me wooden blocks to play with using the CNC machines at the factory. Yeah, it had to be. Or my grandpa, the way he leaned on the fence when he smoked a cigarette. Well, he's no longer with us, so I guess I'll never forget. But all in all, it's okay, because one day I'll die too. And to my children's tree, I'll add my roots.
And then, who are you? Chris. So Chris says his stuff, and then Chris is done, and then... And then CK says his stuff, and I'm gonna show this to Chris and CK too, just so they know. And then CK says his stuff, he's done, and then...
Yeah, take your shoes off when you come into my house, my home, my foundation. Barefoot, walk the path I've taken. Feel the history of my ancestors, understand that ignorance today is no longer bliss, and that amidst this world I demand respect for who I am and for who I am going to be. I was the shortest kid in my class with the biggest dreams, encouraged to play piano, exceed in academics, get into Northside, become a doctor, trying to use time wisely so that I would never have to worry about wasting time doing time. Kindergarten. I don't know about you, but my mom didn't believe in Lunchables. And when you can't have something, you want it even more. I sat there with the boy I liked, having a staring contest with my Tupperware and losing. Hey, you want to trade? No.
Keep going, just keep going, keep going.
Yeah, well, I don't want your Capri Sun, fun-size Snickers, or your cracker ham and cheese combination anyways. Have a taste of my youth, have a taste of my culture, and love it. Marry it and bathe in it. My foundation is rooted within me. Shower me with the sweat and tears of my grandparents. Warm me with the blanket of acceptance. Shield me from the words spoken from those that are naive, the derogatory comments about my eyes. Well, let me tell you about something about our eyes. Our eyes have seen more struggle, strife, and turmoil. And yes, my eyes are open and I see that the soil of my foundation is unshaken and nutrient-rich. That my roots are embedded, intertwining with my past and my experiences, the core of my existence. In all this confusion, who I wanted to be, who I am, and who I should become, I lost myself. First generation ABC, learning first the ABCs before Hanyuzi, always telling me to speak Mandarin more, to work more, to appreciate who and what I have more. Constantly reminded that my dad had to walk 5 miles for an education and then was denied one. Grandma, my nai-nai, I am sorry. I am ashamed to say that I was once ashamed of my long black hair, my petite body, my dark brown eyes, my upbringing, my culture, my language, the Asian smell of my house, my light skin. Grandma, my nai-nai, I am sorry. Somewhere in between the petty comments, I realize it's not me, it's you. That this inheritance is a reflection of my past. That this inheritance is a blessing, not disguised. That this inheritance has given me peace and all the Lunchables I've ever wanted. This inheritance means that those callous hands were not put to work in vain. Haters gonna hate, potatoes gonna potato. Grandma, my nai-nai, thank you. I am me and my roots run deep.